Today's video is going to require some background to give it context. Now, as you all know, I've been going through kind of a rough time emotionally speaking. I've been feeling very depressed. I haven't been sleeping well. I've been asking myself questions. Who am I? What am I? That kind of stuff. And I just felt like I needed to go find myself. So I took some time off of work and I had a fund put aside that I was going to go to Germany in the fall, but I came up with a better use for it. So I cashed that fund in, and I spent about $2,000 to buy a red-eyed flight to Vancouver, and about 8,000 other dollars to buy three sets of Taylor Swift tickets. I had to bid on three of them because two of them might not have gone. So altogether, it cost me about $10,000. But I was able to go to Vancouver and I was able to watch Taylor Swift. And when I was watching Taylor Swift, I had like a revelation. My It all suddenly became clear to me who I was, my orientation, my identity. And when I got back, I decided that I would come out. So I sent this email to everybody in the company and I said this is going to be my coming out party. And a bunch of people showed up, and so then I had like the two bags. The one bag had popcorn in it and the other bag had bran flakes in it. And the one I would reveal my orientation for everybody. So I opened up the corn bag and I came out in front of everybody as gluten intolerant. It's something that I've been kind of considering for a long time now, but I decided to make that decision and identify as being gluten intolerant. So then somebody came up to me and they gave me like a jar full of oatmeal and they said, "Well, you can't eat most cereals anymore, so why don't you have oatmeal for breakfast?" And I took that jar of oatmeal and I looked at it and I just threw it on the floor and I said, "You're a Russian disinformation agent. Oatmeal has gluten in it. Everybody knows that oats has gluten in it. You're trying to poison me. You're discriminating against me. You're making fun of the fact that I've come out as gluten intolerant." And you'll be pleased to know that I reported this person to the diversity and inclusion officer, and they no longer work at the company. And I've been calling all the other companies that they've been applying to and trying to make sure that person can never work again. But there is a point to this story. What I came to realize is disinformation is everywhere. Is that everybody around me is exposed to all of this all day, every day. And that concept of the mainstream media was invented to discredit the mainstream media because the mainstream media is really the only independent media because it's the only media that's not controlled by Russia. Like I have a couple of them up here. These are sources that are not controlled by Russia or controlled by Russian bots. And the more I thought about it, the more I just realized that is what alt media is. Alternative media, non mainstream media, is controlled by Russia. And the mainstream media, they call it fake news. They try to attack it. They insult it. They come up with this title. So I realized the only thing you should listen to is mainstream media because that's what the Russian controlled media is telling you not to listen to. It's what like Breitbart, the Daily Caller, the Washington Post, the the Daily Wire, um, the Blaze, all of these organizations are owned and controlled by Russia. So anything that's referred to as independent or alternative media or independently funded media is really controlled by Russia. And anything that's referred to as mainstream media is actually independent. So I think that's important to establish that right here. And I started to ask myself, how deep does this rabbit hole go? Because I was like, when I look at the mainstream media channels, they like hardly get any views. Like random people on YouTube with 20,000 followers get more views than a lot of the videos on CBC. And then I realized it's not people voting with their views. It's not people saying this sucks. We don't want to watch this. The people who watch CBC are real people. The people who watch the other person are just bots. They're bots or they're Russian trolls or they're Russian troll bots. And when you see that like the the video from like the smaller person will have like 200 comments on it and the CBC video will have like 3 comments on it and they're all insulting the CBC. The reality is those 200 comments they come from bots. There's an AI program they have in like Russia somewhere. And if you go to any of these alternative media sites, you notice they have like way more views, way more engagement. People actually seem to like them. The reality is those people are actually bots. And now I'm starting to like question all these things. Like, who all is a bot? Like in my life, like when I like who am I interacting with on Twitter? What percentage of people I'm interacting with on Twitter are actually bots, like that are controlled by Russia? And then I started thinking like, how much of my life does Russia actually control? Am I a brain in a tank in a Russian troll farm? Is the entirety of the external world just like a vision that Russia has beamed into my mind? And I don't know. All I know is I have to watch CNN, I have to read The Guardian, and I have to pay for the Washington Post subscription because democracy dies in the darkness of the Russian bot. There are so many Russian bots, they darken the skies. You can't tell like what's real or not. Like the Matrix, I think, might have been about the media in like the 2020s and how reality itself will just be constructed by Russian bots. Fortunately, though, you can watch the mainstream media and they will tell you the truth about this and more. So I highly encourage you to go watch the mainstream media. Believe everything that it tells you because it's the only independent journalism that's left that's not controlled by Russia. And I don't even know if I'm controlled by Russia. I might be. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to go figure that out after this video. Um, I'm just questioning reality. So just try to stay sane, guys. Don't let the bots win. Don't let the troll farms win.